The secret meeting in the making to seal the fate of Paul Biya, involving Maurice Kamto and his opposition allies. As Cameroon's 2025 presidential elections loom on the horizon, a political storm appears to be forming in the shadows. At the heart of this turmoil is the imposing figure of Paul Biya, the aging president who has ruled the country for nearly 4 decades. But the time is no longer for past triumphs, because the opposition, long marginalized, is waking up with new determination. At the head of this Renaissance movement stands Professor Maurice Kamto, charismatic leader of the Movement for the Renaissance of Cameroon, MRC. His eyes shine with a glimmer of hope mixed with resolution, because he knows that the time has come to strike a major blow to overthrow the established order. Aware of the scale of the task, Kamto set out to forge alliances with other opposition figures, such as Cabral Biya and Serge Matamba. Together, they hope to forge a coalition capable of challenging Biya's seemingly unwavering political machine. Behind the scenes, movements are accelerating. Michel Ninchu, coordinator of the Political Alliance for Change (APC), plays the delicate role of intermediary, facilitating meetings and strategic exchanges. Because time is running out, and every minute counts in this frantic race towards 2025. But the opposition is not moving forward without pitfalls. The Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atena NJI, recently described the APC and the Alliance for a Political Transition in Cameroon, ATP, as clandestine movement thus threatening their very existence. Such a declaration only strengthens the determination of these coalitions, which say they are ready to victoriously face the elections to come. Despite these challenges, hope hangs in the air, carried by the 5 seats that the APC holds in the National Assembly. This coalition, born in December during an MRC Congress, seems determined to continue its quest for a fairer and more democratic Cameroon. But beyond the declarations and strategies, it is behind the scenes that the real game is played out. Because the men in power will leave nothing to chance, ready to do anything to maintain their hold on the country. Biya, the old lion, watches for his adversaries, ready to roar to defend his territory. Kamto, for his part, knows that he has no room for error. Each movement, each word, each alliance must be weighed and reflected on carefully, because the stakes are high. It is about the very future of Cameroon, the freedom of its people and the much hoped for social justice. In the corridors of power, eyes meet, murmurs are exchanged. Everyone scrutinizes the slightest signs, on the lookout for the slightest clue that could betray the adversary's intentions. Because this battle is not only being played out on the political terrain, but also in the mysteries of intelligence and manipulation. But Kamto is not alone. Around him, an army of determined activists is mobilizing, ready to defend the ideals of the Renaissance of Cameroon at all cost. Their unwavering faith in a better future pushes them to face threats and intimidation, aware that the price of freedom is sometimes heavy to pay. As the days pass, tension increases. All eyes are on 2025, a pivotal year when the fate of Cameroon will be sealed. Will it be the twilight of Biya and his regime, or the ultimate consecration of a power that seems to have clung to the reins of the country for too long? In the shadows, negotiations continue. Kamto, Biya and Matamba exchange, plan, dream of a Cameroon freed from the chains of authoritarianism. Ninchu, their shadow accomplice, ensures the coordination of these efforts, knowing that the slightest misstep could shatter everything. But the opposition is not exempt from its own tears. Some MRC activists, known for their virulent rhetoric towards other opposition figures, struggle to accept this strategy of openness and dialogue. They fear that Kamto will move away from their most radical ideals, in favor of a pragmatism considered too lukewarm. However, Kamto remains convinced that only opposition unity can allow him to defeat Biya and his regime. He knows that divisions have weakened the forces of change for too long, and that this time the time has come to overcome these internal quarrels. In the cozy salons of power, the high dignitaries of the regime observe these opposition movements with concern. Biya, the old lion, growls dully, aware that his legacy may well be called into question in this decisive battle. But Kamto is not afraid. He knows that time is on his side, because the population, tired of years of stagnation and corruption, aspires to radical change. And he is ready to do anything to offer this new era to Cameroon, even if it means taking calculated risks. The days pass, and the tension rises a notch. Each meeting, each declaration, each political maneuver is scrutinized with feverish attention. Because the destiny of Cameroon is played out behind the scenes where ambition, strategy, and sometimes betrayal coexist. Kamto, Libya, Matomba and their allies advance cautiously, aware that the slightest misstep could cost them dearly. But their determination remains intact, fueled by the hopes of millions of Cameroonians who dream of a fairer and more prosperous country. Biya, for his part, observes with a mixture of distrust and anger these movements which threaten his legacy. He knows that his reign, once unshakable, is now weakened by the winds of change blowing across Cameroon. In this battle for the future of the country, each side plays its cards with caution, aware that the slightest mistake could be fatal. But the stakes are too high to back down. It is the very soul of Cameroon that is at stake in this fierce struggle for power. As the days pass, the weight becomes unbearable. Kamto, Libya, Matomba and their allies continue to forge their alliances, to refine their strategy, knowing that the future of Cameroon rests on their shoulders. Biya, for his part, is tense, ready to do anything to maintain his hold on the country he governed for decades. But beyond the power games, it is the heart of Cameroon that beats. A people tired of corruption, injustice and political immobility. A people who aspire to a new era, an era of renewal, justice and prosperity. And it is this breath of hope that animates the opposition forces, pushing them to come together to offer their country a bright future.